Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you watched my last video, which was part 3 on the M37, you would have seen that unfortunately I am not done with this project. After posting my video 2, which these were posted a week or two after they're actually filmed, it was brought to my attention that when I took apart the carburetor, whoever had worked on this previously before I ever got my hands on it had swapped some stuff around and put things where they didn't belong. So these items are the large check ball. They'd put it in like the step up pump area under that spring or in that spring. That is very, very wrong. The large check ball is actually for the discharge check ball for the accelerator pump circuit. So that needs to be taken out of the wrong spot and put into the correct spot. Also, the person who did this, they put the accelerator pump jet where a plug should go above that ball and spring in the discharge port. And where the jet should go on the side of the carburetor, they just put a plug. There's no jet in there, it's just an open hole. So I need to go back to the museum, pull the carburetor apart, and swap these parts around. As far as the small check ball goes, which is underneath the accelerator pump, there was one already in the carburetor, so that doesn't need to be messed with. So that I'm not going to touch. It was there and it had the spring holding in place like it should. But they had a small ball where the large ball should be. So that was one of the problems as well. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and head out to the museum. I'll probably go in a couple of days. I'm filming this when I found out about the issues and did some research online and I found a PDF of the original Army rebuild video for this carburetor. So that helped me figure out what needs to be done where. So thank you to the viewer who pointed this out to me. And thankfully the information was available online after searching. So yeah, once I get out to maps, I will film everything that I need to do to correct the issues. All right, back at the museum, I'm gonna go ahead and just try and get the top half of the carb off, and I can go ahead and start putting parts back where they belong. Hopefully it comes off without tearing the gasket. All right, everything is loosened up as far as the air horn goes and whatnot, so I'm gonna go ahead and start loosening the top cover fasteners and hopefully get the top cover off the car. All right, got the top cover off without any problems, so that is a plus, and I've already pulled out the pump. And here is problem number 1. This check ball by somebody previously was put under this spring in the step-up assembly. That doesn't belong there. This is the large check ball, and this goes in this spot here. And this is the other issue, is right here the previous person put the jet, which is supposed to go in from the side here, and put the plug in here, which is supposed to go in there. So in this hole here should be stacked the large check ball, then a small spring, and then a plug, and then the jet should go in this side. Right now it's swapped. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything reversed and put back to how it should be. All right, so I got everything out now. This is the plug that I was talking about, and then this is the jet. And if you remember from my previous video, the new jet would not fit in, so I reused the old one going into the wrong spot, which I didn't know was the wrong spot at the time. So basically how it's gonna work is this plug that goes on top of that spring and then the large ball next to the accelerator pump, and this jet goes in from the side of the exterior. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything put back together. All right, you can see the jet is now in place there, as well as a plug on the outside to fill it. And then the original plug is put in place there with the spring, and then the check ball all the way at the bottom. Make sure you put the narrow end of the spring on top of the check ball. And here we are back home after working on the truck. That last clip you saw was just a quick little overview of everything after it was put back together. Once I did get it put back together, I was able to fire it up. It did start right away, which was great. I didn't have to drain the fuel out of the float bowl to do what I was doing, so it was it was there. Didn't have to pump up pressure, or build up fuel in the bowl. Fired right up, and then once it got warmed up, revving it, it seemed to be revving a lot better than it was before. If you watched my previous video, there was a clip of it running after I got the carburetor installed, and even when it was warmed up, on initial tip in, of the throttle. It seemed to break up a little bit, and I was thinking maybe that was ignition, but that seemed to be going away. It was a lot, or seemed to go away. It was a lot smoother now. I also was able to talk to the hangar manager while I was there, and he said he did drive the truck after I put the carburetor on. He said while it was driving and running a lot better than it has, he did still feel some issues with it when he was trying to drive it around, and I told him what was going on with the parts that I needed to swap around. So that makes sense, and he's going to try and drive it again this coming week. Unfortunately, while I could start it and run it, I couldn't drive it because there was some equipment parked in front of it. It was inside the hangar, and there's a contractor that's working there that had a backhoe parked in front of it at the end of the hangar, so could not move the truck out. It was blocked in. So once that equipment's moved, he'll try and drive it and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully now we are done with this project. Four videos. Hopefully, this fourth video is the end as far as the fuel system and having that thing run better. There may be more videos on it down the road as other things need to be done or other vehicles at the museum. I'm not sure what projects will come along. So, but yeah, that should wrap this one up. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you took something away from it. I know there's not a whole lot of information out there on these ETW1 carburetors. I couldn't really find any videos on them, and I couldn't find too many disassembly, reassembly videos, so or articles or anything like that. So hopefully this does help you out. If it did, and if you want to follow along, all my other vehicles, I'm going to be doing work on the Jeep, the MR2, and the Cobra. I have a stockpile of parts here for the Jeep, so that's probably going to be next up. Also have some other stuff for the MR2. But yeah, if you want to follow along, please hit like, please hit subscribe, please hit the notification bell. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. I do review them and I will respond. And that being said, thank you very much for watching and have a great day.